Safely returned to the base, we have a bunch of bullet casings sitting in that forge, and this one, which you have not yet seen, has a bunch of bullet tips. And I don't think there's anything in this one because, my goodness, we have problems. We need to make a bunch of cement, and then we need, I remember, I don't know, we need a bunch of stuff. Do we make cement in hand? Wait a minute. I know I went through this the other day, but... Cement. Okay, yeah, it should be in here, right? Okay, thank you. Goodness. I have this weird feeling that I went through that and couldn't find everything, and there it is. I'm like, okay. Whatever happened, I just must not have been paying attention. Because that seems to be fine. Now, we're going to make some slight upgrades today, just for the giggles. No real rhyme or reason, I think. But I do want to stop and check how these guys are doing. There's still some work to be done for those guys there. This is going to take a minute to do this, so I'll be back with you in a minute, or 12. I have not removed everything, but I've removed, we'll say a fair amount. I think that's probably generally okay-ish to say, and then we'll go ahead and give these guys a couple of upgrades here. We don't have a lot of cobblestones, or flagstones for that matter, so I'm going to be fairly thrifty with what we end up doing here, and the rest of this will probably just get some wood frames. And I can't remember with this version of the game, I think if you have cobblestones, you can upgrade to them from wood. I just don't remember. I know we don't have any concrete, so those are as good as they're going to get right there. I guess just to test it, I know it's going to go to scrap metal. Yeah, so it goes to scrap metal and then it'll go to concrete. So I think for the time being what I'll do is, here, let's go ahead and make some more wood frames. We can make, we can afford a few of these, so we'll just kind of do a bunch of them here so that we can kind of fill in the gap. And this will be a work in progress as we try to restore our current living place. And then there's still going to be more to do. You'll notice that I basically took care of all of the frames that are at the ceiling level of the floor below us, meaning that if we're down here, this will all look normal once we patch everything up, and then we'll still have a little bit of work to do upstairs. And then, yes, all the windows will need to be replaced, and we'll work on those in the coming days. I mean, we'll probably just do like those guys right there, the very crappy, ugly, crud-covered windows that just look atrocious, and you cannot understand why. In a game in which you're building your own base, there is no such thing as a clean window to build. Don't ask. Glass cleaner does not exist in the apocalypse. That much is abundantly clear. So, moving on to other things, we do have a small amount of gunpowder and then a small amount of coal and other things, so we can probably... Oh, it's not going to be worth it though, is it? So if we were to do gunpowder, we could make it at 2 to 1, but I'd rather make it at 1 to 1, so we're going to hold off since we don't have much of that behind. And we're going to save our last bit of clay and cobblestone rocks. We'll just throw those back in there because we might need them for other things. But we will go ahead and spend 2 points here on 9mm crafting. And we'll go in here and we'll make some 9mm rounds. And we'll make 35 of them. It's not many, but, you know, it's something, I guess. By definition, technically it is. We have a bunch of stuff in here, but we also have a bunch of stuff outside, so we're gonna go outside and see if we can find ourselves a early morning wandering horde, but it does not look like that's going to be the case. So we're gonna start with 0 food items in inventory, and let's see what we end up with. I should say food and other, because technically aloe is not really food now, is it? I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess you could eat it. I don't know that you would really want to. I don't think I would advise that. I don't recall if that's something that's toxic to eat, so don't do that. You can't do it in the game anyway, so I think that more or less prevents the problem. Let's go inside before we decide what we're going to plant, because we will probably want to replant some of this stuff, but I want to throw all of these things in to the box first so we can get a better idea of what we're dealing with. Not you. Those ones, and then I will take a look at yuccas. I think we might want to do some yuccas. And then aloes, and where's our carn? So, just going by what I can remember of recipes, I'm inclined to think we want to replant most of those. The yucca probably doesn't matter as much. The golden flower we're going to continue to use, of course. But since we already have 10 yucca seeds just waiting to go, we might as well use them. We have one aloe vera, we have one blueberry. I mean, I'll just kind of replant all the things that we have ready to go. I suppose we probably should use some of those coffee beans we have lying around just to make something. I don't know. And then, oh goodness. Let me go ahead and make some more seeds, and I'll meet you back outside. We'll go ahead and plant our extra blueberry seed. I don't remember. I think that spot is okay to grow on. It's, I don't know, a little more difficult for me to tell in this version of the game. Maybe it's not even this version, just in general. I don't know. I mean, it looks like these spots have been plowed for harvesting, growing, etc. So I'm just going to go ahead and run with it. I think for right now, I know we have a very, very easy way to source aloe vera, but I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with the row over here for aloe vera again, just so that we can get a bunch of them. Since you're talking about a 4-to-1 to make the crap that turns into the aloe vera gel, ointment, whatever it is, that turns into the good... Oh wow, I did way too many potatoes there. I thought I only did one. Okay, whatever. We need a lot of aloe vera is really what it comes down to. Really, it's pretty much that simple. I think that spot is good. And since we have them, we'll just go ahead and plant 2 rows of these. I don't know, whatever. I didn't mean to do that. Since we're not doing the blueberries, we'll have space for these. It'll work out okay. And then we'll do some yucca seeds. And yep, this is going to look really wonky because we're going to have one extra spot somewhere. I'm pretty sure about it. And I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, I guess if we really need, we can add some other thing in here. We've got all the things we need to make more seeds, basically. Here, if we were to add one more thing, I guess here, just because you can't go wrong with potatoes or potato seeds, we'll go ahead and plant one more. It's not a very large farm, but it's, you know, it's producing pretty well. And we could, of course, just turn everything into seed. You know, just make a ton of food, water, all that stuff ready to go. And then just turn the rest of it into seed and probably be okay. But I don't necessarily want to do that right now. I mean, that's kind of a lot more work than I was looking to undertake at the moment. So instead, let's turn our attention over this way. And I just want to see, is there anything? Yeah. Well, no. No, never mind. I forgot. We need to spend more points on weapon crafting before we can really upgrade our gun. And I was kind of hoping to hold off on spending those points until we hit 60. Level 60, so that we have a better idea of what the impact is going to be. So let's check our food right now. We've got 1 blueberry pie. We do not have any meat stews, so that'll be a problem. We should probably make some of those. We do have some goldenrod tea. We've got plenty of water. You know, let's take some water, and we'll take that 1 lone blueberry pie. And then I guess the last thing we're going to need here is some forged iron, because that guy needs to be repaired. Drop down to 256, my friend. You're looking pretty weak there. And then I forget, you are a 55-65 versus a 67-74. You win. Congratulations. We're going to go get some building materials, so I'm going to spend about the next 11 years doing this because, ooh, those I think are ready to harvest. Because if we want any hope whatsoever of surviving, we're going to need more building materials, and that means I'm looking at you, stone, and you, clay, and you, crushed sand, and you, All my free time in the world. Going back inside now, but stopping to chop down one tree. I was really just kind of checking to see, is it good to go? The answer to that question is yes. Yes, it is. It can now be harvested, and here, we'll go ahead and plant one right there just to fill in the gap, and then we will plant another right there. Madam? I don't know how I saw you. I think I saw a shadow, maybe? I don't know, there doesn't seem to be any shadows anywhere. I don't know, whatever. I guess I just caught movement. Not really sure. Whatever. Oh, look at that, I got some paint here. I was really messy and just started splashing paint around everywhere, my bad. We'll have to clean that up later. Just the same, we got ourselves some materials to start with. It's not going to be enough because it's never enough. That's just kind of the way it is in this game. You go and you collect some things and it's just never enough. So we'll go ahead and throw a little bit of time in there. Let you start cooking. That's going to smelt into that guy. We'll eventually be able to turn this into cement. And that's of course going to require spending some points first to be able to do that. But we've got to let that cook, so it doesn't really matter all that much. I did collect, by the way, some crushed sand. Not much, very little. Because I was just kind of poking around to see what we could find outside. And, you know, found a little bit of stuff. It's not much, but, you know, it's a start, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this is one of those things where it's really kind of hard for me to figure out where the balance is and everything. Because, I don't know, it's just there's a lot going on in all of this. Here, let's go ahead and eat this pie real quick. I mean, to the point, you know, are you better off when you don't have an auger? Are you better off in going to a desert to find crushed sand to just straight up dig it up with a shovel? Or are you better off mining stone and then turning the stone into crushed sand? I usually err on the side of go to a desert, but what if you don't have a desert nearby? I mean, in this case, yeah, we do. We don't have to go too far to get to a desert, but it is still a bit of a drive. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of tough. I mean, I'm sure there is a mathematical answer to the question of what is most efficient, what is the best use of time, etc., etc. And what is this right here? Is that clay? Or is that like a random little piece of desert out there? Not sure what that is next to that little incredibly horizontal lake. I don't know. It's like some little oasis out there in the middle of all of this weird, destroyed, not quite plains, but plains sort of environment that we've been inhabiting for the last while. I think I just kind of have to let a bunch of that stuff cook and just run with it, which is a shame because there are things I want to do, but to some degree we are really kind of beholden to just letting all that stuff happen. We're not going to worry about painting right now. That'll be another day's problem. And we'll get back to restoring this place before too long too. But for right now, I think the biggest thing on my checkbox that I want, checklist, the most important item on my checklist is to find a better engine. I can't believe that we haven't found a better one. We have all sorts of engines. If I go back to this box, you'll see we have a wide variety of engines. We have two crap ones. So I think my next course of business is to spend a little time, probably on my own, because you know how long this takes to dismantle all of these things, especially when you need to stop for stamina. And all these guys right here, almost all of these, don't even have engines. Like this guy, we can break it down just for the laughs, but I'm pretty sure, memory serves, that cannot produce an engine. It cannot produce a battery either. It's past the point of deconstruction that you can get any of those particular items, so you gotta find stage 2. Oh, I think we have a wandering horde coming through. If I'm not mistaken. Is that what's going on here? Or do we just randomly have a bunch of dudes out here? Maybe we just have a bunch of random dudes out here. And it's not a wandering horde. Just the same, though, I kind of want the experience. I mean, we're getting really close to level 60 now, so, you know, watch that experience bar jump. Ah. Now you know why I stopped for wandering hordes. That is why. Just the same, I'm going to continue my deconstruction operation here in the hopes of eventually finding a better engine. I'll check in with you on the next one. Till then, thanks for watching. See you later.